Okay. Yeah, it's all fine. Man, I know there are more points, but I really hate using 1 stars. It's so boring. I think the combat power rate is the worst part. It's like, not only do I have almost no abilities, but also the few I do charge more slowly. Ugh. Hey, TC. It was good. Houston is doing a like restaurant week thing right now, so a bunch of places have like price fix menus, profits go to food bank, that kind of thing. And yeah, it was great. Had shrimp and grits, bread pudding, good time. Hey, Rogue, how's it going? Yeah, good food. Just took Ronan to rank 4. Nice. I want to spend some time on my alt and finally get. I think it is Uncollected and it's Cavalier that I need. Because ideally, I would go ahead and rank up in progression on it before the end of the Legends event so that I can open all of the 7-hour crystals I've gotten. I've definitely missed some. I'm not like being religious about logging in. But if I could level it up, it'd be very good. And so that would mean I think I have like 4 or 5 quests that I would need to finish, but I also need to pick a rank 3. Um, and I was originally thinking Strife on that account, although he's not duped. But now I'm kind of been thinking Ronan. He's also not duped, which is a bit of a bummer, but he's quite good. And he's done a lot of work for me. Like, I have 6 stars on there that are, very obviously worth it. I've got a Nimrod, I've got a Toad, I've got a Shang-Chi. And the Shang-Chi is very tempting because I haven't done much with him. But the Shang-Chi isn't leveled at all, and the Ronin is already ranked 2. I don't know, man. I'm thinking about it. The alt is relatively low importance. What's the roster for the alt? It's pretty good, honestly. I just have no ISO. I've got a lot of solid 6 stars. I also have a few I'm pretending I don't have. Like, I think I do have a 5-star Quake, that kind of thing. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking, Rogue, is that I would be happy taking him up, even without. The last 5-star I opened on that account was a featured, though. I was kind of hoping against hope. I can't remember who's in that. Maybe it was before it switched over. I don't know, but I tried for a 5-star Kate at least once on that account because pairing her with a rank 3 Ronin would be very fun and allow him to get through an absolute ton of content. Hey Bean, how's it going? Hey Static. Plus, Ronin can pleasantly surprise you more than Shang-Chi. I definitely get where you're coming from there, but oh, that's right. This Hawkeye can't slow down. Um, I get where you're coming from there, but I've barely played Shang-Chi, and I have played a lot of Ronin on that account. So that might not be true for me. Still don't have cake for the synergy. Yeah, I hope you get it soon. I've barely played with it after testing it, but I do like it. I have a rank 3 Ronin on this account. Part of the reason it's such a spicy synergy is because it requires you to bring 2 skill champions, and I just normally don't do that. God, this is painful. Bringing 2 of any class is something I don't like. Yeah, exactly. I try and always make sure that on my characters, you have some same class synergies because they usually make lore sense, right? Why is that happening? Hold on. Because they usually make lore sense, but I also always try and have some from outside the class. Healthy mix of the two is ideal, in my opinion. Oh, okay. The lose more than 10% part. That's... I just forget about that. Hey, Aiden, how's it going? Because it's like the only time that that comes up with Hulk is when you're clowning on him this part. Happened to me in Arena the other day, or in Incursions the other day, too. Because that's another thing that I have to do, is the lower rarity arenas, so I get the filaments. I didn't max out most of the objectives, and so I kind of need to make up the extra. Hey, Double P. Yes, I am well aware of them, TC. They told me that I was a fool for making Ronin stronger, which I really appreciated. They do really good work, though. Yeah, it's a good channel. Thoughts on Sandman? I like him. I'm expecting to like him more after the buff. I do agree with Fel. I'm not a fan of his medium animations, and that kind of bothers me, but he works. Yeah, Taskmaster's good. He's just rarely worth the trouble, in my opinion. You can do incredibly impressive stuff on YouTube, but, like, I don't know. It's hard for me to care that much about him. Are you crazy for considering using your rank 5 gem on him? I don't know. I think the main answer to that, Aiden, knowing you historically, is, are you still trying to move up? Because last few times we've talked, like, I understand you don't want to be fully beholden to prestige, but if you do want to move up, like, a rank 5 gem is when you can make moves on something like that. And so picking someone like Sandman in a class where I know you already have a rank 5 that's not prestige relevant is like the kind of choice that can hold you back there, being completely blunt. It's not something everyone has to worry about, but I know that you've discussed some ambitions before, so I do want to mention it. Thoughts on Iceman buff? It's great. I'm really glad that we got him added to the tag because it's been fun to assign. See him kick butt. Jerk. Arena AI. So TC, this is fairly low effort for me. What was your question from the other day? Oh, I just realized I need to switch over to live chat. Do that in a sec. Yeah, Gamora is great. I wish I had one. Yeah, Sasquatch, I do. I'm the designer who built Absorbing Man, Kate Bishop, and Photon. Tomorrow's a very important day. Last rank 4 I'm doing for the foreseeable future. Nice, who you picking? What was I about to look at? Oh, right, live chat. Why is my cursor in this part of the screen? I was playing around with Sue Storm against Winter Soldier because boredom and realized most if not all fragilities were from dexing special attacks. I got to wondering whether a champion who... Okay, oh wait. And how's it going, Saraghost? Also, welcome, Sasquatch. I don't remember seeing you before. And maybe I should have left Spidey versus Spidey. Hey, Wolf. Whether a champion like her who ramps up from dexes... You get to design by giving them good power control. Um... I mean, it sounds like you're describing Spider-Man 2099, so I must not be fully understanding something about where you're coming with this. Gross. I mean, what you're describing also sounds like Cassie, right? Like building true Power Focus 1 into a character, it doesn't. There's not really a class that fits it, to answer your question. Um, because controlling power and preventing specials in the like by preventing specials in the first place, so messing with combat power rate negatively, is primarily a tech thing. Um, like Punisher 2099 is the obvious one. Tech Collar does this. Um, Viv and Ant-Man both do this. It's a very tech thing, but increasing combat power rate while you're doing that in the same kit is usually more of a science thing, like Cassie, because it feeds into, I want you to throw specials because I'm going to punish you for throwing specials, which is much more science, and that's where we get things like power stings, right? So it's not that it's like not allowed per se for you to have both of those on the same character. I'm just not sure where it would fit in the wheel. And what value would it bring you if it's not a science character to increase their combat power rate below a bar? And if it is a science character, then how do you justify it messing with their power above a bar so strong? That's kind of the basic questions you would need to answer. Not saying they're unanswerable, but those are the challenges. Stilt gets the honor, not totally swearing off 6 stars, but I'm comfortable with where my rank 4s are and got 2 of my most wanted 7 stars last week. Yeah, that makes sense. That's a good reason. I'm still ranking a good number of 7 stars, but I also have had pretty miserable 7 star luck. Hey, Strands. Yeah, I get what you're saying, TC, but the question is, what's the goal? Like to push on it a little bit, if you want to if you want to work on like champion design, like it's having an idea for self-contained mechanics is good, right? Like thinking about Kate, trick arrows are a self-contained mechanic. Whoops, sorry, dropped my glasses while I took them off to talk as another fight was loading. Can you tell I'm not used to doing arena streams? But like trick arrows are a self-contained mechanic. But then from there, you want to go, what goal does it serve? Um, like her trick arrows specifically, you have improve her crit stats. Like that's a very skill thing. It makes sense because that gets around a lot of science defenses. You have cold snap, which messes with evade, which is a very science thing. So in this theoretical champion where you're dexing a bunch and baiting special attacks. What are you doing with your dexing? Like, and what's yeah, like what are you trying to do with this character? Not really, Jason. How's it going? Welcome. Goal could be anything. Yeah, Invisible Woman does ramp her dexterities, but she's also pretty old, right? And so she doesn't like accomplish a whole lot right now. Yeah. I mean, to the original question, this doesn't sound completely out of bounds. But I think, again, the thing that sounds the weirdest is specifically increasing power gain below a bar and then reducing it above a bar that way. Like, science champions normally have. The way a science champion would probably do that would be something more along the lines of a taunt, like Cassie has. That's the obvious one. But what am I thinking? Other things you could do would be like heavy attack places a wither or something, but that wither it places a second wither if they're above 2 bars or something. That kind of thing. Like, if the goal is you want to increase the opponent's power gain without sending them red, without putting yourself in really bad positions, then you want to make sure that you're not completely locking down the opponent, A. That you are leaving open interactions, B. Like Cassie does it with a taunt debuff, right? And therefore that's subject to interaction. And C, that you're doing it in class appropriate ways, right? So rather than like combat power rate reduction without a named effect, what can you do instead with that? Again, not trying to push back on the idea overall, but more kind of guide you to how I would be looking at that, how I would be looking at it if I were trying to turn it into an ability that we would ship, if that makes sense. I'm sure she has, Rogue. I think it's also pretty obvious that there's been some effort there just in the sheer number of synergies that Sue's gotten over time. But she's a tricky one to buff. Having talked to her designer, apparently an original design, she basically kept oscillating back and forth between not quite good enough and busted as hell with just minor changes. And that makes it tricky. Hey, Kaitu. I am doing well. I think Adam's fine, honestly. Like, he's very strong. But a lot of the people that play him all the time are also asking for more and saying, like, yeah, I don't know, it's just like, I find myself wanting this. Like, it's just, he doesn't feel completely safe. I get hit sometimes. It's like, yeah, that's the point. So I think he's probably in a pretty good spot. Like, the nature of what he's trying to do and what the designer was trying to do inherently means you're going to have some swings and it's going to be hard to balance. It was hard doing the balance passes before he came out, right? But I think success pretty inevitably looks roughly like what he does right now, you know? I think the thing, excuse me, that I like least about Miles is what that fight just showed. Obviously, the AI in Arena is not great, but when you have, like, basically just the fact that you have to slow down the fight to achieve his missions to such a degree that when I finally get the Furies and I feel like I'm doing the thing with him, it just occurs to me, yeah, but if I had just played like 5-hit combos and ignored his kit, would I have gotten similar damage in terms of like damage per second, not damage per hit? I don't know, man. Hate bombarding you with questions. No worries. I mean, that's a stream like this is the perfect time to do it. There is not a whole lot going on in my player brain right now. Why flag the corner of the profile, not change the color of the stars? Uh, I mean, I'm not a UX designer, so I can't definitively say, but I think the first few reasons that come to mind for me are, one, changing the color of the stars tends to not be a very colorblind solution, and when for people who play on their phones, which does not include me most of the time, but is most of the player base, the stars are pretty tiny. And so, like, picking up on a qualitative aspect of them like that could potentially be very difficult for people, especially when you're trying to, like, quickly draft in Battlegrounds or figure out who you need to ban. Whereas the badge is going to just be easier for a lot of people to pick up on very quickly. It's like, okay, I know what that looks like. I know what Ascension looks like. There it is. The other potential reason might be, I don't know, maybe we wanted to preserve that option for some other feature in the future. Right, but that debuff you just outlined, TC, I mean, it's a debuff, but that doesn't, I don't know. That would be a bit of a tough sell for me. It feels like too much security in a single effect. The other thing I'll say about it is that any champion that ramps by dexing, in my opinion, is immediately suspect. Because the gameplay of just dexing a bunch is difficult for some people, but I kind of put that aside. Like, skill caps are okay. But it's also not very fun for a lot of people. kind of to my point about Miles, you're doing a lot of maintenance and not really progressing the fight. And if the payoff of these debuffs is strong enough that you are meaningfully progressing the fight, then you run into another problem, which is basically the Quake one. Should you be allowed to progress the fight that much while not touching your opponent? Because the answer is very often no, you shouldn't be allowed to do that. Hey, K-Dog, how's it going? Yeah, there's also potentially that static since we don't have, since you don't have to have the champion awakened. It's a good point. What do I mean by security? Excuse me. What I mean by security is that an ability that always puts the opponent's power where you want it for your kit is always going to be strong, right? It's also, again, more tech than science. Yes, I did use the 1 stars before this, Wolf. Right, and that again sounds like a spooky amount of security, TC, because what you're describing is I don't touch the opponent at all for X amount of time, which doesn't sound like a lot of fun. And then when I do, I'm in complete control of the fight and I waste them. Why is that something that we want to ship? I think you need to do a little bit better than that, TC. Stronger things exist in the game doesn't really do anything to convince me when Quake and Hercules exist in the game. Like, we have shipped things that were mistakes. So we're going to need a little bit more than that. There's a bug 2 months ago that made Adam stack unlimited Furies, and he was insane. Yeah. Yeah, that was a bad bug. But yeah, I think he probably is a little bit underrated. Because there's risk to him. But, like, in Battlegrounds, the risk is usually, oops, I lost my... Like, if you're on top of things, the risk is, oops, I lost my ramp, and therefore lost this fight. In War, where time doesn't matter as much, I think very often it would be more along the lines of, like, oops, I lost my ramp, and now I need to wait for a bit. Thought I blocked that. As in, it doesn't hurt him as much because he can just ramp again in the future. Resonates nice to have with Red Guardian. Nice. There's no upper limit on any one ability, TC. Like, that's not really how it works. It's the sum of the parts. Well, I won't say there's no upper limit, because I was thinking it's like, you know, we have guaranteed crits. We have things like Sentinel's armor and crit resistance. But it's all within context. But technically there is an upper limit, because, like, if you said, oh, let me just add 7,000,000% attack rating just on the last hit of the heavy, yeah, that would obviously be beyond the pale. But you get what I mean. Like, it's mostly not about a single ability, it's about the context. And in terms of Adam's sovereignty, like, he does a fair amount to earn that. That's fine. That's gonna stay. I don't think just dexing a bunch really counts as earning the kind of power that you're describing. I mean, that's the thing, TC, is that, like, what you've described thus far is like 3 bullet points out of a kit. So I don't know, because that's not a design yet. That's like part of a design. So it's hard to know what the rest of it would look like. Like, what's the payout? What's the rest of the kit? How much utility are we talking? What can this character take? What are the release valves? What are they weak to? There's so many unanswered questions with this much on the table. And I've already described to you, I think that the ability of, like, basically building power focus into a debuff is a hard sell. Because, like I said, it always puts the opponent's power where you want it. And that's very strong. Like, part of the reason that Viv has such terrible base stats, it's not just because of her damage, it's also because she does that a little bit. And it was factored into her power budget. So I'm skeptical of a design getting that ability over the line, and I'm skeptical of any character that ramps on dex. Yeah, I know it's hard to make a full design, but I'm just telling you why I can't give you a full answer, right? Because you're not actually proposing a champion that I can evaluate in full and think about. And there's nothing to playtest, right? And that's not your fault, but I'm just making sure that you understand, like, that's why I'm equivocating a bit. Because I'm not saying hard no, but these abilities do strike me as a bit risky. Is taunt coded differently for different champions' abilities? Taunts are all pretty much the same. Like, obviously there was a bug with Cassie's. But beyond that, they're pretty much the same. Well, if there's nothing on ability power rate, then I bring it back to, why do you need this? Like, that feels like a very... Again, if it's not ability power rate, if it's combat power rate, then that's probably a tech champion, and why does this tech champion want the opponent to throw specials? It's also wildly difficult to balance the kind of thing that you're talking about, where it's like, oh, I want them to ramp on dexing specials. Okay. Then how do you balance such a character so that they feel okay against somebody with one-hit specials that are maybe tricky to dex, like say Deadpool. And when I say tricky to dex, I mean tricky to actually trigger the dexterity mastery, not tricky to avoid. How do you balance them against like Deadpool versus, say, if you can full dex Apocalypse's special too, right? That's a huge balancing ask. On a different topic, is Ant-Man's glancing fix up for testing on the beta servers? I don't remember, honestly. Let me... Hold on, pulling out my work phone, finding the email. I obviously can't tell you everything that's in the email, but... Yeah, it looks like it's live, because it's supposed to be released next month. I haven't seen anybody play with it. I get what you mean, TC, but I don't know, man. I'm still skeptical. Like it's every champion has bad matchups, but it's not just a matchup thing. It's like the core mechanic you're pitching me, what this character is built around, is going to vary wildly based on their opponent. Right? Like by a factor of as much as 6 or 7. And so I'm not saying there's no way to make it work. And I'm not saying no variance is allowed, but I am skeptical. Just curious if it makes him more annoying on defense. Probably does. I would fully expect it to make him more annoying on defense. Which is why it would be nice to test. But so much going on this month. Maybe TC, but like honestly, probably not. Because I've told you the things that you'd have to sell, but like at that point, um, like we're not actually going to do a full round of design reviews on this. We're not going to play test it. We're not going to ship it, and so it's hard to like. There's no yes or no mark on that, right? This is kind of the hard thing about fan kits, and like discussing these things, is that you don't have the process. And that's not that there's nothing wrong with that, but like none of my characters were perfect on their first review or their first playtest, right? Um, and obviously no character's perfect, but like none of them were ready to ship. I can't remember anyone's who ever really has been. And so when I'm saying I'm skeptical of something, I'm not saying that there's like no way to make it work. It's not an indictment. It's more like I don't really feel like we need to take it much further. I'm just saying you asked about an ability, and I told you what the challenges were with it. And honestly, I'm good leaving it there personally. Because to go, and I'm not saying that to just like dismiss you. I'm saying like to go much further would probably require the fuller process of like, okay, well, I don't think that should work. I don't think that'll work. Maybe redesign that. But then you would have to come back with alternatives. We do that a few times, and then you would actually build it and we would play test it, right? And without that possibility, um, there's kind of like a natural limit to this conversation. Hope that makes sense. Hey, Mike A, how's it going? For my Battlegrounds Mastery setup, how many points do I have in MD, Standard Ground, Assassin, Deep Wounds? I never run Assassin. I always max Mystic Dispersion. I usually run 4 points in Standard Ground. Um, Deep Wounds varies a bit, but usually 3 or 4. I imagine Cap wasn't on the first review either, Jason. Hey, Outline, how's it going? Doing pretty good. Welcome, John. Hey, sorry I missed your question earlier. Who am I planning to pick? Probably Maw. I like him quite a bit. I need to book a massage. I got a crick in my neck. It's funny to see Hulkling not do much damage to Rhino because of his physical resist. Same basic idea as why Carl's good against blocking him. Kinda neat. Yeah, always, always recovery. There's never a reason not to max recovery NYK, because even if for some reason you're not running willpower, you still have champions with healing abilities. You want them to be boosted. Ah, on release. Gotcha. Willpower I run. I do think that it's possible to build a deck where not running willpower makes sense, but not worth it for me. Yesterday in the DLX challenge, team got wiped due to bad play, but Photon soloed the last 4 fights. Nice! That's cool. Tired as hell. These last few days at work have been busy. Only 9 p.m. I feel like I'm about to drift off. Then let yourself, man. Take that break. Okay. Got a bit more to do. Yeah, that's like a round and a half of 1 stars. That's fine. We can call that. What else is there? Ah, this one. Where are we on these? 5 and change. 5 and change. Okay. So we're very close. It is level up. I might have enough. Okay, that takes us to 6. Already bought some there. I don't want to grab that. Because that one scales. That takes us over the line. And then... how far off are we? Want to do the exact math. 8550. That's 15%, right? Yeah. I think we're taking up Photon right now. Might be a little more efficient to wait, but let's do this. I do still need some Sig Stones for her. That's some. I'll do Gauntlet for more. What am I missing? Ah. Which one do I have more of right now? I'm probably a little low, but that's okay. I'm sure I have places to find this. Go ahead and claim that. Perfect. All right. Yeah, well, Despair, Mystic Dispersion, and Equity are pretty demanding on their own TC. Gotcha. Fair enough outline. Hope you enjoy the day off. Hey, Bleezy. Welcome. And I don't think I said hi to you, Easy. How's it going? Would giving War Machine the armor stat focus help on his damage and energy resist? With the pre-fights, yeah, it should. Is that number 3 for the battle group? Is it? I know Sim has her at rank 5. Do we have another rank 5 already? I don't like going past multiples of 20. Oh, you know what? Hold on, let's make sure this is in order. Yeah, that's a lot. Good lord. Nas is only rank 4. I'm sure he'll get there pretty quickly. Which stat focus is best for Maw? There's some good arguments on a number of them. I never did do my video on stat focus. It's funny how a vacation and then COVID and then a work trip will just completely destroy the momentum of a YouTube channel. I think the best arguments for Ma on defensive stat focus are physical resistance and block pen, and I don't think you really want to look at any others. I think on offense, physical resistance again makes sense, and I think block proficiency makes sense because his power control mostly comes from parry heavy. And I think that's probably where I would leave it. I've seen some people say special damage, but no, I wouldn't do that. His damage is degen. It doesn't get boosted at all. Ah, sorry to hear that, Easy. That's never fun. And there we go. Nearly maxed out. So we need 60 more SIGs. Yeah, very, very close. I don't think she's in my prestige yet, but she will be. Yeah, I don't think it. Well, it might have gone up. I'll do math on that later to figure it out, but she'll be there soon. Which stat focus for Photon? I would use crit rate on offense, and on defense, probably special damage. Block pen is possible, but she's already messing with their block proficiency, so I think special damage is probably better for her. And thanks, Bleezy. But yeah, the thing on offense is that if you look at her stats, they're actually like her crit stats are pretty bad. Like that says 32.5, which sounds good, but you have to remember that precision is giving you like 400. So a lot of that is precision. So like plus she like for her body type of medium, they tend to have decent crit stats in the first place. So both her crit rating and her crit damage have been tuned down pretty significantly. And so I would recommend bumping one of those. Oh, wait, you know what? I think her crit rating is actually good. It's her crit damage rating that I tanked. Maybe that's what you... What did I do for this? Hold on, let's go to Aunt May. It's been a while since I did this tuning. But the idea for that was that I did intentionally um, mess with her crit stats so that her damage would feel a bit less spiky. Oh, she's not on Aunt May yet, is she? That's alright. Slugberg has stuff to do. Oh, that's cruddy easy. Yeah. Is negative fizz resist by default? Yeah, that is what I would default to. But I do think block prof. It does make sense for Maw. What's my strategy on taking up 6 stars versus 7 stars? What's ready, basically. Like, I knew I was taking Monica up at one rarity or another, so she's a little bit different. But generally, it's kind of a function of, like, where the basic catalysts are versus the class ones and what options I have. Because if we take a look here, I have 3 Mystic. I could take someone up. And if not for the upcoming Legends selector, I probably would as soon as I then got to 6 again. I was saving some for Monica, but I'm far enough off on the rest of these that they don't really matter. The closest one is Cosmic, because if I got a selector, then that could be at 3 very soon, right? So if we look at my Cosmics and my Mystics, I don't want to take up an unduped Surfer. Venom is very good, but again, unduped, that just doesn't excite me as a rank 2. So if I was going to take up a Cosmic soon, it would probably be Nova, honestly. Because he's been working out well for me, and he's like an easy placement on defense. Hype is the nostalgia pick, and I'd be very tempted, but I think I'd probably do Nova if I was going to do that right now. And then out of Mystic, the thing is that there's a good argument to just wait for Maw and instant rank 2. I'm already very comfortable with him. That would be a good one. If I don't pick Maw, or if I decide I don't want to take him to rank 2, then I think it's probably Tigra. It's like, we have a few rank 5 Dooms in my battle group. I don't feel like I need to be one of them. Chavez is great. And I think she's a good rank 5, but I would probably rather wait for the 7 star. because I do think she'd eclipse them pretty quickly. And then my other rank fours are basically just Rintra, right? Because after that it drops off, and so I would need even more resources. And so for me, it's Tigra. Like, I already use her a ton. She gets a bunch of fights down in Battlegrounds for me. I think she'd be an easy pick. And then past that, I'm just not thinking about it right now because I don't have the cats. So it's kind of like as I get close to 3, I start thinking about, do I have an option as a 7-star that I'm excited for? Because if so, then I'm going to try and wait to get to 4. If I don't have a 7-star I'm excited about, then I'm probably going to wait a little bit until I'm at like 7 or 8 catalysts, maybe get a little bit higher, but then I'm just going to take up a 6-star because they're still good. Hopefully that makes sense. Yeah, I know Venom's great, and it's definitely on my mind, but I think Nova would do more for me in the short term, Jason. Nice, Cyber. Good luck on that poll. Attribute screen takes masteries into account? Yes, I'm pretty confident that it does. I mean, that's an evolving question as time goes forward, TC, and it's so subjective. I don't really want to answer that, honestly. I think that would make him a wee bit cracked, John. I think that would actually be a bit much for Cole. That's a fun idea, but like something else would have to come down. Because that means basically you parry heavy and then immediately go into route, and instead of going for another heavy, combo into heavies. But then, now that strikers exist, you go combo heavy, cancel into striker, combo heavy, and like, what doesn't that kill? Cannot decide between Mar, Emma, stuck on Sam, and Roblin. Yeah, they're all great options, honestly. Plus, my Tiger's already Sig 200. Yes, plus that. I considered Venom, but Gore is duped. Yeah, that's fair. My theory is you'll dupe them eventually. You will, but like my rate of acquisition of 7-stars has been so much slower than yours, Jason, that like I don't feel like I need to take anyone to rank 2 that quickly. Because yeah, I'll dupe Venom eventually, but what if it takes me long enough to dupe Venom that I form a Titan crystal and pull Hyperion or Odin out of it first? And it's not that I won't, like, it's not that I'll sit on resources forever. I think y'all know I don't generally hoard, but I'm just a little bit slower than I potentially could be. Doesn't kill Realm of Legends, so seems balanced to me. Ha ha. Was expecting Tier 6 class Catalyst to be a bit more prolific. Why? They're coming in at a pretty good clip. I've said it before, I'll say it again. Remember that the July 4th sales are sales. And celebration events are events. They do not define the new normal. I feel like Tier 6 class catalysts have been coming in pretty darn good. Especially if you're focusing on them in battlegrounds. And now, isn't there some in glory or am I making that up? Okay, there's not any in glory. Wait, no, there is. Yeah, like if class catalysts are your focus, you can get quite a few. Because there's all of that, there's whatever you get from AQ, and there's some in war. So if you're not, like, plus all the stuff in content. So if you're not getting enough tier 6 class catalysts, then you probably want to look at, like, what you're choosing to do in game, you know? Even I was able to rank 5 someone. There is that. I don't know that I agree with that judgment call, John. I'd rather them feel like they're coming in through content. Obviously, I'm sure you got some of yours on July 4th, but like, I like that there are some in game, and that I feel like I've been making meaningful progress by working towards it. Oh, we need to go. Hold on. How long is it before 1 stars come back? I feel like I should know this. Still an hour from now. Okay, it's not like I'm waiting on that. I'll do that later today. Claim from stash before we get level up rewards. What am I going to do now? Let's do a little bit of Battlegrounds. Sounds like you need to do some incursions, TC. It's a very funny group of bands. Just a big ol' hard nope. Love that they're coming. Love that it's content. Concerned because the live stream acknowledged 7 star progression is going fast. Yeah, we need to we're gonna try and talk about that soon. It will probably be on this channel actually. Um, there's some stuff going on there, but the short take um, the short response is just that it's going faster right now because this is the rank of 7 stars that still shares resources with 6 stars, and 6 stars were here for too long. You combine those two things, it's kind of inevitable. There's more in the works. It's something we're looking at, but like that's a big reason for what's happened. Ever had someone ban my 3? No, not yet. I mean, for one thing, Photon hasn't been ranked 5 yet. I have had both Kate and Carl banned at the same time. Yes. Might regret that. Take care, Outline. Have a good one. Oh, that's a terrible, terrible place to miss a parry. Oh, you jerk. I didn't play that perfectly, but that was annoying. Good enough. Kingpin's my secret weapon against Hulkling. Yeah, that's a good matchup. Ah, why does he lean forward? I knew it. Shouldn't have done it. Why didn't the Fate Seal land? He wasn't supposed to purify it yet. You absolute jerk. That was my moment to throw it. Ah, terrible, 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 terrible. But I'll take it. I still don't understand that special too. Like, we should have applied the Fate Seal. What am I missing? Hey, an edge. Um, yes and no. Like, I think that the power curve in this game with the exception of like a half dozen truly busted characters at the top, is a lot flatter than most of the community thinks it is. And so I think that even though, yes, Mysterio is not going to look quite as good when you have a bunch of modern 7 stars ranked up, I think he's still going to look good enough um, that you're going to run into a situation down the line where people in Battlegrounds are going to be like, oh, yeah, like, he just has a Mysterio. Come on, what's he going to do? Use it on offense? And then people are going to just crush things because the special 3 plus the follow up is enough, right? Or somebody's going to be like, Mysterio's not that bad. Once we get the real Cosmics, I'll be able to mop through him. But, like, he's still like, I win rounds with my Mysterio against Hulkling. That's not just the stats. Um, I didn't structure that response well, but basically, I think it's a little bit of both, but I think it's more that the characters were underrated and are now getting recognition for what makes them special than it is them being overvalued now. It is a little bit of both. You're not wrong because the stats do have an effect. But I think it's more that they were undervalued than that they are now overvalued. Gamora is a really good example. Like, she looks cracked as a 7 star, but if you knew anybody with a rank 4, rank 5, 6 star Gamora before this happened, they were cleaning up as well. So, yeah. I won't reiterate, but I think that that's yeah, Elsa, Joe, like there are so many champions in the 7 star pool that you could say, okay, solid but not great, but actually they've just been very good. And they are a lot closer to the top of their classes than people realized. And now people are being forced to use them and figuring out what they can actually do. Hey, Vega, how's it going? Hey, Strands, welcome back. Yeah, Joe versus Kingpin is a cool one. I haven't had occasion to try that, but it makes sense. Wow, Strands. Look, another Venom the Duck profile. Disorient on parry lowering, yeah, like TC said, that's only defensive ability accuracy reduction. I don't know what happened there. Mm. Did that person actually max sig their Jessica? This is a big account. Yeah, if Yondu came out as a 7 star, I think we'd be looking at something similar static. That's a good example. I was just talking to another developer about Darkhawk recently. Wow, this person also got lucky. What a jerk. They already have Sam. Unacceptable. Um, what was I saying? I was just talking to somebody about Darkhawk. The thing about him is that, like, he doesn't really do any of the things that you want a tech to do from an RPG perspective. He's just like generically good. He does good damage, he regens well, he has decent power control once he gets rolling, but he's a little bit slow to get rolling, and he doesn't have much else going on. This is a tough draft. You know what I mean, Aiden. Literally just naming the few utilities he has doesn't really change it. Oh, I should have grabbed a Tuma. Why didn't I grab a Tuma? Because I already had a Tuma, or Namor. Because I already had a Tuma checked off with Sunspot, which may work, but I should have still grabbed Namor. Expected. Makes sense. This is a nuke off right here. Oh my god, you jerk. You're gonna waste my whole Fury. He really is. That took so much more time than it needed to. Right, but that's the point, Aiden. Utility being accessible or inaccessible is very, very close to it just not existing. Interested in Old Man Logan for a while now. Any thoughts on him? I think he's more cute than good. Like, there's some interesting stuff there, but nah, I don't think he clears the bar. Recently got Sunspot, worth rank 2 unduped. I mean, that's a 48k score against an Atuma that could have been like 15 seconds faster, so I would say yes. Thought about slapping physical resistance on Sunspot for Atuma? I would say no. I think the stat focus being crits is just way more important. Because if your special 2 crits, then you don't really care about you don't really care about a few more thorns that never happened because the opponent is dead. Yeah, that is a rank 2 Sunspot. Oh, you jerk. I should have just gone for the heavy there. Oh well, this will be decent. Was planning to throw the special one there at the end of the combo, but that worked. Hey, Cream Cheese, how's it going? Took down a Tuma with her in the same amount of time, but ate two full combos. That is impressive. Um, I don't think that she can quite clear what that fight would have looked like if Atuma hadn't waited out that Fury when I was ready, but that is still impressive. Don't get me wrong. Nice, Hussein. Know some good 7-star Terax gameplay? Not off the top of my head. Yeah, Aiden, she's fantastic. What's the secret to fighting Chavez? There are a few. Learn how to interrupt her heavy safely so that she doesn't get the purple dimension. If she does get the purple dimension, bait another heavy to cancel it out as being the most recent one, or have a way to deal with the special, like I just showed with Titania. Silk would also be a good one. Use Quicksilver if you have any idea how to use him. He just turns her off entirely. There are some options. I respect the Wacky Venom to Duck rank. I figured that's who they would use for Hulkling, but I also figured that's kind of how it would go. Yeah, cream cheese. It's very hot right now. For sure. Take care, Sargos. Yeah, good luck. Best Chavez counters, 2099. Never let her throw a special. Doesn't hurt. That's for darn sure. Are you running Tech Color these days, Jason? Cool. Um, okay. But you did try it for a while? Was it just the points, or do you feel like it wasn't working for you? Have a similar opinion on how good Icarus, Arcus, and Super Scroll are. What do you mean? Are you saying those three are similarly good? Is this person running recoil? I feel like they have to be with that Doom. All right, noted for the Elsa. Um, I think Arcus is better than the other two as well. Or are you saying that they're like in that conversation with Gamora or something? I'm not following TC. I mean, that's the thing, Aiden, is that like if you keep assuming each individual rank won't make a difference, then none of them will. But if you make the differences that you can when you can, then they do add up. Because that's the thing, is that like alliances are willing to take somebody who isn't there on prestige but has been working on it. What alliances don't want to take is someone whose roster looks like they've never given a second thought to it. Because at that point, it becomes like, and I know I've said this to you before, then it becomes like, are you willing to carry me? And it's very, very difficult for someone to be so good that they're worth being carried like that. Yeah, I have no idea what's up with your YouTube stuff. It not definitely doesn't cover that. Oh, I get it. You asked him, but his chat didn't show you. I understand what you're saying. He's a balance designer, so he's on that team. He helped go over Photon before she came out, that kind of thing. Good luck, Aiden. That's fine. I'll take the poison. Dang it! Wasted. And now I just need to throw this. Whoa! How did he even have room to dex that? Okay. This is not going well. Hope our opponent has a similar experience with Atuma. Man, the number of 5-hit combos this dude is throwing is too damn high. Cool. They were clearly trusting that I didn't have a counter. Hey, Carl, how's it going, man? This is a heck of a gamble. Jerk. I hate the way animations interact with purifying stuns so much. Okay, well, I think I lost this one. Hard to win when you eat two specials. First one was my fault. I don't feel like the second one was. Alright, Carl did well. Learn that better next time. Yeah, I mean that's the thing, Hayden. I know you've heard me say this before, but like prestige is an investment. If you plan to move up in alliances, then prestige is an investment. Like it's very easy to get locked into this thought of like, well, I don't want all of my rank 5s to be prestige. I don't want all of my sig stones to be prestige. Then I don't have anything for myself. But the thing is that if you invest in prestige and get into an alliance that actually gets good AQ rewards and competes at a high level in war and probably is decently active in battlegrounds, you get all of that back. You get so much extra from being in a good alliance that like it's not about rank 5s coming in often enough. It's just honestly go all in on it and then move up. You'll get the resources back. I know that's a bit of a leap of faith. So, apologize for saying it bluntly, but I do believe it. Ugh, she's back. What do you think my odds are of getting the 7-star now that I've maxed the 6? I'm not doing that. I need to save units. I shot my shot. There's a decent chance she'll be in the Titan Crystal by the time I can open one. Hey, Red Hat. I do Quicksilver and Doom can get to 18,356. Yeah, it's good progress. Hey, Topher. Between Silk and Cassie, who benefits going to rank 5 more? Whoever you're going to use more. Those are both very good champions. I'd say Cassie has a bit more war relevance. Yeah, I'd say Cassie has a bit more war relevance, but they're both very, very good. Am I going to do the Incursions run title? At some point, I've started that run several times and not gotten the hack I wanted, and so I've just stopped and done something else. If I can get through like room 8, I don't know, I'll think about streaming the last bit of it, but I'm not using Hercules, and it's just not that important to me. It depends, Aiden. I've told you before, it is not like a hard number. And I agree with Easy. Like, all of the resources you're talking about as rare are in the Battlegrounds store. If you have the time to go a bit harder there, it'll help you catch up. Yeah, like ours is 19.4 at the moment. Um, and so if somebody was coming in, that's my standard. Is like, are they above or below average? And we kind of move from there, right? It's not that nobody below average ever gets in, but like that's where the conversation starts. Um, we're definitely not the highest prestige alliance in master, not by a long shot, but we're also not the lowest. So there are ones that are closer there. There's also like it doesn't have to be straight to master right away, right? Especially not straight to master and top 45. There are intermediates. Platinum 1 can be very good, etc., etc. Photon. Oh, now's probably a good time. I should check and see if she is in my top 5. I haven't done this calculation in a little bit. God, who even are my top people right now? So I'm sure Carl's in there. Um, I doubt Reed still is, but it's possible. Teddy has to be. Kate probably is, which tells you that my champion prestige isn't that high. Who would be? Oh, probably Ant-Man. He's at 200, isn't he? Yeah, he is. So it might be him. I forget where Atuma and oh, Infamous Iron Man. How did I forget him? Okay, cool. That's definitely the fifth. Yeah, I Doom, Absorbing Man. That's two. Just going through until I get to five. Ant-Man, Kate, and Hulkling. Yeah, that's definitely my top five. And so then the question is Photon already in there? But she's not on Aunt May, so I would have to, that's right, she's not on Aunt May, so I would have to go look that up. Yeah, I don't know. But she will be soon. Um, yeah. Love to join an alliance and rank up based on prestige, but I just don't have time to worry. Yeah, that's fair. A lot of ways to play this game. Obviously, we are continuing to work on things that make war and AQ less time intensive. Can't really share any details beyond saying that that is something we're looking at, but yeah, I get it. It's a lot of work. Hype and prestige don't go together at all. No, they don't. I've said it before, I'll say it again. If you rank up Hyperion, you're getting a good champion, but as far as prestige goes, you're effectively lighting catalysts on fire. There is no way he's going to matter. Mind me asking what rank my alliance finishes AQ. We're somewhere in between 30 and 35 these days. High end of Plat 2, low end of Plat 1. That's fair. It was just even moving up even to like the higher end of Plat 1 still matters, Aiden. Because like you'll get more rewards, but you'll also get more experience because the defenses get better and better the closer you get to the top. And that's how you're going to end up getting more experience. And also, what do you call it? More videos for audition tapes, honestly. I need to get this Ghost Rider relic up if I'm looking at a 7-star Maw. What do I need? Mystic Alloys? Alright, I'll keep that in mind going forward. Oh, I can take the Gamora one up. Does that take me off of the others? No, it doesn't. I just have enough, and I can get those in time. Cool, let's do this. But am I low on this stuff again? Yes, I am. Okay. And then we'll come back to that later. When do the Shocker buff details come out anyway? We'd already done like the first round, right? So I don't know. Whenever it's in the beta, that's when people will be able to talk about it. Honestly, that system needs to get better because and I'm not blaming the CCP. There's just like there's no monetary reason to make videos on rebalance, and so like no one does because it doesn't get views, and so at that point, I don't know. As far as communicating to the community what the buffs are looking like, it's just not working right now. I'm hoping we can figure out a way to make that better going forward. How's Prestige calculated? It is the top 5 ratings of your characters without masteries, which is why everyone calculates it on Aunt May rather than like paying to take off masteries and count. And then it's that added to the prestige of your top 5 relics, which that one is just there's no masteries affecting them, so you just average the top 5. That one's pretty easy. Why does the Gabam title look so much better than Legends? It does look pretty sweet. I wasn't sure how much I'd like the orange at first, but I'm digging it. Thank you for Photon. You're welcome. I'm very happy with her. Are the Kabam developer, etc. titles and such new? Yes, literally within the last month. So you took Mysterio to rank 2, but I never see you using him. Was he nostalgic or defense? Mostly defense. I have used him on offense. He's still good, but I find the difference between a high sig and a low sig Mysterio very big as far as playing them. Like the extra gas reducing how much you have to do medium is a huge quality of life thing and helps the tempo of the fight. And so I don't love playing him at Sig 20 after getting used to my like Sig 160 rank 3. That's basically the main reason you haven't seen me using him more, but he is still good. Special 3, and then a few combos closes out most fights. Yeah, I get it, Aiden. More time planning is helpful, but it's tough. Like I don't know. The only places I've ever been where planning really feels like it works, you have to have a team. There has to be some support and some give or take, or it's just soul crushing. All you have is the forum rebalance update. And there were no numbers in that? I can't remember. I guess the idea was to just keep it vague, yeah. There has been one round of numbers agreed on to test, but we don't have anything further than that. Can no one just make a bulleted list of the changes and post it? They definitely can. Like I said, it's like I don't know. The CCP just isn't making content on this. They get embargoes for it. You just keep requesting people make it, I guess. Hey, Snoops, how's it going? I am unfortunately on the way out. I usually am when Snoop shows up. Hi, BT. So is my next champ coming out this year? This year. Not gonna share class, but they are coming in November. I've said that before. Not thanking you for Photon yet. Not until I can get through incursions. That's very fair. I have already put in a request to make sure that the next defender I'm building does not line up with incursions. I'm really sick of people being angry at me for doing my job every few months. I would like this to never happen again. All right. On that note, I'm going to go ahead and call it. Probably go get a snack. But I will see y'all again before too long. I might stream again tonight. There is enough to do. We'll see. Till then, take care, everyone.